Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai haere mai. Greetings to you all and welcome to the TRK AUSA debate. Kia ora, I'm Neil and I'll be one of your debate moderators for this session.
Kia ora, I'm Jessica. I am the other debate moderator.
Awesome. In this online session, you'll hear directly from the student candidates standing in this year's election to represent you at the University of Auckland. This is your opportunity to learn more about the candidates, their policies, and their priorities that could shape student life in the year ahead. Throughout the debate, candidates will share their key issues and the context behind their campaigns. We'll finish with a quick fire round where you'll see each candidate's skills, qualities, and experience put to the test to the position they're seeking. The debate rules of this session are: each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the moderator's questions. Follow-up questions may be asked with 30 seconds to respond. Moderators will keep time and ensure rules are being followed. Only the candidate being addressed should respond to the question. Candidates must uphold the university's zero-tolerance policy on bullying, harassment, and discrimination at all times at the session. And candidates must not interrupt the moderator or another candidate while they are speaking. Now that we've covered the rules, let's meet our candidates.
Cool. So if everyone could please introduce yourself, talk about your past experiences, and talk about some of your aspirations for your role next year in 1 minute, that would be awesome. Starting with you, yeah.
Tēnā koroa, Neil and Jess, ko nimish me lansing tōku ingoa, no kirikiri ahau kei tamaki makaurau tōku kāinga e nāianei. My experience has involved some club experience at the University of Auckland. I've been really involved in Velocity, the student entrepreneurship program, the study abroad student society, and really advocating for different groups within our student community. I'm motivated to run for the president role at Te Rōpū Kahikatea because I believe that we need to build an even better community in the next year. We've made fantastic progress and I'm driven by community and connecting people, and that's exactly what I'd love to do.
Thank you so much.
Kia ora, my name is Cullinan. I'm a Part 3 Civil Engineering student and I'm the current Engagement Vice President of AUSA. My primary goal when I ran for Engagement Vice President was visibility of AUSA. And yeah, that was my primary goal, and you know, we've made the events much bigger and better. We've helped clubs with the broadcast channel. We've improved the AUSA Instagram. We've gained 5,000 followers, 6 million views in the last 6 months, which has been amazing. I think we've done a great job with visibility in general and student campaigns, fighting for fair transport. And I want to continue that next year along with all, the other experiences I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Morteza, a law student. I already did my PhD at the University of Auckland in education. I thank everybody who helped manage and run this session so smoothly. And I hope we can have fruitful discussions with the other candidates, my friends, and fellow students. And we can have a way forward to see how we can improve what AUSA does in terms of student advocacy and representing students and defend their rights when it comes to dealing with the university's management.
Awesome.
Kia ora koutou, ko Elson Tan toku ingoa. My name is Elson Tan, and I am motivated to run for the president position of Te Rōpū Kahikatea AUSA. I run on a policy of trying to bring back the important stuff to the university, such as UBIC, and also control towards religious groups that on campus that also make students uncomfortable. In the past semester, I built up a lot of experience with the UniGuide program, the AUSA Buddy program, the AUSA Volunteer program, as well as with an off-campus charity called Kick Back the Front Door. In addition, I also want to increase AUSA transparency while also acknowledging the efforts of the previous administration.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. We will now move the first section of this debate session, where we talk about the important issues. We will start off with you, Nimish. What do you think is one of the most important issues affecting students on campus right now?
Students on campus right now are plagued with the issue of career insecurity. The reason they come to our amazing university is we offer a diverse campus with lots of opportunities to help them get into jobs where they can make a difference in the world. What we need for them is to provide a community that supports them. We want to train them on what they can do to get better in their jobs, to be ready for the workforce and ready to contribute to society. That begins within our university, and that's what AUSA can advocate for.
Cool. And do you have any evidence to back your claims?
Evidence to back up the claims of career insecurity? I think the first thing starts with engagement within the student body themselves, actually having gone and spoken to people about what the issues are that they face. We are facing rising challenges with unemployment within the student body. I don't have the exact statistics on me right now, but having chatted with lots of students around the university within clubs and in the wider body, that's where this key idea comes from.
Thank you. And Kalana, what do you think is one of the most important issues affecting students on campus right now?
One of the important issues affecting students is the high prices of transport, I believe. For students to come and learn and, go to their lectures and actually come on campus, they have to pay, a high fee for coming onto campus via public transport. We've done a petition this year, which has raised over, around 3,000 signatures. And that just shows how important of an issue this is. I've had talks with the university on talks about, university subsidized transport, to do a university-based shuttle bus system because AUT does that. And another thing is also spreading awareness of the community services card, which gives you 50% off public transport if you earn less than $33,000. And that is most students, yeah. So that is one of the most important issues that I think.
Thank you. And evidence that backs up your claims?
Yep, the petition says itself that it's one of the most important issues next year. The general election is next year. It is a good tool to use. This is the time when politicians actually care about student issues in general. So using that to leverage politicians, and yeah.
Could I just clarify, how much power does AUSA have over the cost of transport for students at UOA?
The AUSA does have some power. We are the student association. As I said, we have been having talks with the university, with university subsidized transport, and also a shuttle bus network, just like AUT does. So there is some, things to do. We also have a good social media presence, as I said, to spread awareness of the community services card, because you can get 50% off public transport if you earn less than $33,000.
Thank you. And with one final follow-up, when you say we, who's the we who have worked on this petition?
Pardon?
So when you talked about we, who is we and who created the petition?
Oh, petition? The petition is, so there was me, Gabriel, and Matthew, and also working with AUTSA as well, the presidents and the vice presidents of AUTSA.
Thank you. And Morteza, what do you think is one of the most important issues affecting students on campus right now?
I cannot really pinpoint one issue per se, because student journey is a matter of complex issues working hand in hand, and student life is including a lot of different factors set into what students want to achieve out of their studies at a university or any other higher education institution. And in that, rather than working on symbolic activities, working on petitions that may get them nowhere, although I congratulate my friend on initiating that petition, good on you, and the other matters that Nimish rightly mentioned, I would say that we should focus on the legitimacy crisis of the AUSA. when we see that fewer than 10% of students take part in voting, we should be alarmed.
So would you say that one of the most important issues affecting students right now is the legitimacy crisis?
I would say if AUSA wants to uphold the rights of students and advocate on their behalf, there needs to be the basic trust between student body and this institution to achieve that goal.
Okay, thank you. Alson?
Well, there are numerous issues affecting students on campus right now. Like Morteza said, it's very hard to pinpoint one specific issue, and it's pretty much a game of whack-a-mole trying to solve all of them. Like Nimish said, there is an issue with career insecurity. I have talked with many students over my time at UOA. Some have even said that even with their degrees, they'd probably end up taking a boring office job anyway. Transport is another serious issue. Like Kalina said, AUT already has a transport system, and coming from Hong Kong, I know that several universities already have a campus shuttle system. The only problem with that is that it's also going to take a massive political effort involving multiple Auckland political figures. However, I do believe that I have the connections to at least solve that problem. For rent, that's also another issue as well, because many students are already choosing to live with their families instead of getting dorms in the city, and rather just prefer to take public transport to campus every single day, regardless of how long it takes. And like Morteza also said, another issue is the legitimacy crisis of AUSA. There have been a lot of rumors surrounding.
Your 1 minute timer is up. And just to follow up on your question, you were asked to think of one important issue that students are affected on campus right now. Could you please clarify once again?
The most important issue is probably academic well-being overall. Even with all of these events happening, you can't exactly enjoy events when your grades are clearly failing and you don't know what to do. While AUSA was focusing on events, I don't think they focused much on advocacy. I believe that advocacy should be promoted a lot more, because we also need to help students feel better. I mean, you can attend all the events you want, but it can't solve the everlasting...
And candidate, your time is up. Thank you. Moving on to the next question.
Moving on to the next question, starting with Nimish. What do you think are the responsibilities of the president, and what values do you think the president should hold?
Thanks for the question, Jess. So the president is essentially the leader of the Students' Association, chairing lots of different meetings, working with committee, working with AUSA staff, but most importantly, working with the students and the executive. The president of the AUSA will be essentially the face of lots of different things. So aside from being the face of media, the president must uphold all of the values of AUSA as well as the personal values. I believe that having integrity, strong communication skills is what really matters for the role. Yeah.
Thank you. Kalina?
Yep. The president, it is important for the president to uphold all the values of AUSA. And to focus on all the pillars of AUSA, which is student voice, student support, and student experience. And the president does, go to a lot of meetings, consult with students, meet students, and is the primary spokesperson of AUSA. I think it's really, important that the president also injects life into the student body and speak up on important issues that actually matter to students as well.
Thank you. Morteza?
Well, I guess the president is responsible to stand up for students' rights and bring to life what it is that they want from AUSA when they are engaged with the management of the University of Auckland. Rather than seeking approval, they know how to fight to proceed and achieve outcomes that are really tangible. Not putting a statement after a statement that is not getting students anywhere, and actually rather than giving them hope is going to disappoint them further, because again I go back to my previous point, fewer than 10% vote. And I have to ask myself, why? And if you have the answer to that question, a lot of other matters would be resolved as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alison?
Well, I believe that the role of the president is to represent all students equally. This also means working to support students themselves, like students supporting students. And yes, I also do believe that the president should also uphold all three pillars of AUSA: voice, experience, support. And it's also many students don't really trust the staff to help them, so that's why we exist. And as president, of course, I have to be the public face as well. We have to tell the students what's going on, and we also want to listen to the student body to attempt to come up with a solution. And as president, I believe that whoever is in the position should be able to spearhead that effort.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll be moving on to our next section, which will be individual policy. And starting with Alison, our first question is, what do you think has changed the most between your campaign this year and last year?
Well, this year, I took a look at several other issues affecting students and decided to pinpoint 6 that I could complete within the entire year, from December 1st to November 30th. And those issues, while I do still believe that I should take a stance against bullying on campus, it's already been integrated into one of my student support policies as well.
Thank you. Next one is, the idea of spotlighting university services and eliminating stigma is valuable. However, this initiative has no value if the lecturers choose not to participate. What are your existing networks that motivate lecturers to participate in this policy?
Well, although I don't have one at the moment, I could sell it to different faculties and make it a mandatory thing, because we don't want students to end up being misinformed about these policies on campus. Some of them, they go their entire university lives. The lecturers don't even say it, and as a result, they never hear about it until it's way too late.
Is it within the powers of the AUSA president to mandate the faculty to get lecturers to participate in this?
While it is not within my power, I can put out a convincing argument to attempt to convince the faculty to do it. While I can't make them do it, I can convince them to do it. I can convince individual faculty members and see if I can get them on my side. It only takes one at a time.
Thank you. Just circling back to your first answer about what the most pressing issue is, you spoke on academic advocacy. AUSA runs a number of programs, including their Student Representative Program, as well as their Student Advocacy Service. How do your goals as president build on the current efforts of AUSA?
It's not just that we want to hear student concerns, we also want to help them get better grades, for example. This year, there have been a lot of events, and obviously you can't exactly cure FOMO. We invested a lot into events, but not really much into student well-being. Some of the advocacy services are reportedly underfunded, and we also want to, as president, I want to invest more into these advocacy services, because I believe that although we can host events to help students have
Thank
fun.
you, candidate. Your time is up. We're going to move on to the next candidate. Nimish, your experience has largely stemmed from outreach or executive roles. As the role of AUSA president requires you to manage a team, how are you qualified for this role?
So currently I work as social outreach lead with the Velocity Committee. We've delivered several events this year, including Fiua Ki Te Ao and Pasifika Talanoa, focused on Māori and Pacific entrepreneurship. That has involved lots of engagement with the community and reaching out to speakers. Also, serving as the social outreach coordinator for the Study Abroad Student Society means that I work very closely with my team in securing sponsorships for all of our students that come from around the world to make the best possible experience in Tāmaki Makaurau and Aotearoa.
Do you have any direct leadership in terms of managing teams?
I do. I served as an advisor at the Rotary National Science and Technology Forum.
And how does your past leadership experience can foster a strong leadership leading 42,000 students at the university?
So I believe it started with one that I actually failed to mention just before, serving as a student president of Waiparuru Hall in 2022. So actually coming into university and putting my hand up right away saying, I want to represent my students, I want to represent my hall. I carry that through to what I do now. And with that, I think that experience helps me to understand, firstly, the students that are around me, understand the student body and engage with them, actually being able to go up with them and have a conversation about what they want to see.
Thank you. So we have been looking at your policies and we did see your seating policy. Our question is, with regards to taking student belongings and placing them in a holding area, do you think you might run up against some issues?
Yes, absolutely. I think that policy would have some issues. Number one would be to do with campus security. I think having a policy where, for example, students might have to police it themselves would be quite difficult. So I've reframed it. And instead of that, I think we should focus more on other initiatives of how we can get student seating at the university. And the main one is overflow study spaces. We have lecture theatres around the university that can be free for some hours during the day, during the week, and using those all of the time can benefit our students.
Does backing down on hastily prepared policies so soon after publishing them show you're unfit for the presidency?
I think it shows that I'm fit for the presidency because I'm willing to refine what my policies are based on student concerns and actually work towards them and communicate those changes.
Thank you. Our last question is, your proposed policies have focused on issues such as fair seating, student lockers, and jobs in the Quad. Other candidates are running on platforms that seek to address transportation costs and the cost of living crisis as well as politics. Are your policies representative of the needs of the student body?
I think my policies are representative of the needs of the student body within AUSA control. So my focus is on actually getting policies done and work done that affects the student body directly and is within power of the AUSA president and the AUSA executive. I do commend all the other efforts on other fantastic initiatives. For example, public transport, 50% off. I think that petition is great. But my focus is on what we can do within the AUSA for our students within a short one-year term.
To follow up on that, what would be your challenges that you'll face when running these policies?
When running which specifically?
Your policies for fair seating, student lockers, and jobs in the Quad.
I think I'll address the jobs in the Quad, for example. Of course, we have limited jobs within the Quad. So while I would love for more students to engage with those, our focus should be on getting students job ready. But one of the pushbacks on that would be, yes, sure, we have fewer jobs to offer them. With student lockers, some of the past initiatives that we've had, for example, the lockers behind AUSA House or the lockers in the Science Building are no longer accessible, and we have made great progress, for example, in Hiwa and actually getting faculty lockers as well. So focusing on those within the faculties, getting those to go there is really, really important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our next candidate, Kalana. Our first question is, looking at your policy regarding MOUs with campaigns and the proposal for AUSA to provide funding for them, could you explain where in the budgets this funding will be coming from?
Yes, so there is some money that we can use from the AUSA budget for campaigns. I was thinking around $5,000. I have talked to the Finance and Operations VP this year, and he said it is possible for this. Currently, student groups, they provide an MOU as well to campaigns, which is a new thing, and they can book rooms and get equipment, but can't do anything else. Currently, this year, we have an MOU as well, and we can provide logistical help and all that stuff as well with exec approval, but no funding for student-led campaigns.
So my question is, the current VP, Finance and Operations, has given you allocated funding for this, but next year, if the VP is different, will that stay the same?
Yes, I think we can provide some funding for student-led campaigns. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can.
Will this take away from any other funding that this money would have gone towards?
No, it would not. I'm pretty sure we have enough funding for it, yeah.
And how do you choose which campaigns to prioritize?
Exec approval, of course. It will be voted on with the exec. It will not be my decision.
So do you believe the voting of the executive is representative enough?
Yep. I mean, we have a postgraduate students officer, we have a queer rights officer, women's rights officer. It is representative of the student body, so yes.
So, Kalana, you do have a very extensive suite of policies that we're looking through. How will you support your team's autonomy when their policies conflict with your own goals?
Yes, so one of the things I will do is, first of all, have a one-on-one meeting with all of the executives and see what they want to do. It's because, of course, everyone has different things they want to do and different policies. And, working together as a team is really important to see what we can actually do realistically. Yeah.
And we've noticed a number of candidates from your engagement committee are running for positions. Have you formulated your policies with this in mind?
Like consulted with my engagement committee or?
Yes, quite.
No, I've not consulted with my engagement committee on my policies. I know a number of my engagement committee members are running, and that's because they're really passionate in those roles that they are running for. They have done an immensely great job working with me on producing really good events. And no, we have not overspent on events. We've had a set budget, a low budget, in fact, and it's just that I've changed how the Themed Weeks program works, where it's only one event per day, so we can actually allocate a lot of funding for one event. Yeah.
Our final question is that we are curious about your personal involvement in Budget Eats and the student groups form that you have advertised, you have campaigned. Could you outline the contributions that you've made to those projects?
Yep, so in the Budgie Eats project, I am responsible for the marketing of it, and we're currently working for the marketing of Budgie Eats. It's just because a lot of students don't actually know that Budgie Eats exist. So we're working with the university and in order to get this up and running. So a lot of students do know that Budgie Eats exists. So for example, in my engineering cohort, a lot of my friends don't know. So it is important that we actually, get this communicated across to the student body.
Thank you. Moving on to Morteza, our questions for you. As a mature student, do you think you have the ability to connect with the younger undergraduate student population?
I believe so, because I've been in their shoes once upon a time, and I come this far in my academic journey, and I understand what it is generally that they want. But I also believe that there should not be any policy without student input. They've got 45,000 students or more at the University of Auckland. That would be premature for me to say that I know what it is that they want at this stage, and I assure them to represent their voice in that regard. First, in any system, there should be a needs analysis. What is it that the students want? It can be conducted through different ways, like surveys. But again, the most important point is engagement of students with AUSA so that they can be represented.
Thank you. Your leadership will be quote-unquote vocal, strategic, and unapologetically student-first. But you have not outlined any plans to translate this into real measurable outcomes?
I guess I just answered that question in my previous statement, where I said there would be no policy without student input. I can have a say as an anecdotal statement based on my own experience and experiences of students I know, my friends or colleagues at the University of Auckland. But first and foremost, when you say student-centered, it is the student who should have a say. It is them who should say what it is that they want. And it is for the president of such an entity as AUSA to fight for it, not to be helping the university's management to have another facade of a student voice without actual outcomes.
Do you feel like it is a bit naive to, I guess, start your presidency with a needs survey, especially when you talk about engaging students? But what about the students that aren't engaged on campus? How would you reach for their opinions and their views?
To the contrary, I guess that would be respecting the students' rights to act based on what they say rather than based on what I think they want to say. Because it is not for me to choose the needs of students that they want to prioritize. When we talk about students, we have to remember that students come from different backgrounds, culturally, socially, financially, and others. And they have different needs. Which one should we prioritize? Which one is the most important thing? Which one should be discussed with the university's management in our next meeting? That's what
Thank
they
you, candidate.
choose, not
Your time
me.
is up.
Just to follow on from the point where you mentioned about, I guess, prioritizing student needs first, you kind of promised in your policies to take a strong stance against the university, but how do you plan to navigate situations where AUSA needs to collaborate with the university for the benefit of students, for example, the funding agreement?
Well, I guess I've got some skill set that I can put into good use if I'm elected into this position. I worked at the University of Auckland at a center that worked on teaching and learning across different departments at the university, and it was my job to interview senior academics at the University of Auckland to understand their perspective as well and what it is that they are going through. So as a student, I also understand what it is that a student wants, and we should strike a balance between the two because it is all of us working together that we can achieve an outcome which is desired for all students. It is a difficult task. There is no one size fits all, but it is achievable.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to move on to more general questions for each of the candidates. Pretty much we'll give you the question and every candidate will be responding. It's not specific to you, but rather this is a question for all candidates. And we're still in the same section of policy scrutiny. Pick one of your opponent's policy. If it were implemented and yours were discarded, what specific long-term consequences would you predict and what evidence supports your argument? We'll start with Kalanga. So, pick one of your opponent's policy. If it were implemented and yours were discarded, what specific long-term consequences would you predict and what evidence supports your argument?
So my opponent's policies?
Yep.
And if it were implemented?
Yep.
Okay. And what's the other part? Sorry?
So what would be the consequences that you'd predict and back it up with evidence?
I've not really gone through my the other candidates' policies. Student lockers is a pretty interesting one. I think it will be great to have student lockers. I think a better one would be club lockers. And that's because I feel like a lot of clubs do need a space to store their items. In terms of consequences, I guess it's really hard to get a space for student lockers in general. The building where there is student lockers behind AUSA is used by student groups, I believe, and it's, you can't be used. It's an really old building. So yeah, it's really hard to sort of get a space for student lockers in general, I believe. But yeah.
Amish?
I think it would probably be around more of the specific policies that I believe are out of AUSA's control. So I really admire lots of the work that's being done since our student body really is struggling financially, a lot of them on the ground. Something like public transport, I mean, we have a limited budget within AUSA to advocate for what the students need, and our focus should be on using that budget for what we can do on campus. So pushing and using student funds for more things within the AUSA that perhaps could be subject to exec approval as well after using funding to support that seems like a misuse to me.
Thank you. Morteza?
What was the question again?
Essentially, if you could pick one of the opponent's policies, if one of your opponent's policies were implemented, what do you predict would be a long-term consequence of that policy, and what evidence kind of would support your claim?
Well, I guess petitions can be helpful to an extent, but my experience tells me that they don't go far enough, sometimes nowhere in reality, to help people who initiated those petitions, in our case, students. But again, that's something my friend could do and student lockers. These are minor stuff, to be honest. I think we need to be a bit more serious about the life of students from entering the university till graduation. It's a process. They go through different stages, and some students decide, unfortunately, to drop out in midst of this process, and that's where students fall through cracks. And people do not really talk about those aspects of our unfortunate outcomes in our higher education. And that's what we can think about, because the main goal for students is to change in this process and become a better person, to augment their life and the life of their friends and family and their society and contribute to it successfully. So it's a multifaceted process, and we can be facilitators of this process for students at AUSA or any other organization that advocates for students.
Thank you. And Elson, just very quickly.
Well, one policy that I could see something wrong with. Well, Nimish did mention extra student lockers because students leave their stuff everywhere and to reserve seats, and that's obviously not fair. It's been a problem for years, but it's more of a common problem that could easily be solved if people just, learn to at least follow the rules. It's not actually enforceable. I mean, we could encourage it, but you can't exactly enforce it under AUSA.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our next section, it's called What's Hot on Campus. So these are the issues that we think we know that students are struggling with currently and want change for. So our first question, this is a general question, so we'll probably answer in order. AUSA talks a lot about transparency. How specifically would you ensure AUSA's decision-making processes are truly transparent to all students and not just those who are already engaged with the system?
So firstly, I want to commend the work that has been done on this year and in the previous years. I think AUSA's engagement, as you've mentioned, Kalina, has gone up quite a lot. For example, having more 5,000 followers more within this year. That's really fantastic. What we need, though, is to ensure that we're not just engaging those people who are engaged with the people who are engaged. Sorry, that was a bit of a strange thing to say. But my point is, we have a really large student body. You've mentioned it, Morteza, the 45,000 plus students that are around campus. So that transparency needs to actually be out there. Firstly, that starts with the executive, not just through their executive channels, but actually when they interact with students around the campus, as they should be within their roles.
Thank you. And Elson?
Well, one thing is that I know that my policies, most of them were actually inspired by the policies this year and me having a desire to continue them. Obviously, not all of them are able to be completed this year, but I do believe that continuing them is a big matter as well, because I know that they have positive benefits to students, and with just the right amount of collaborations and planning, I believe that something can happen on campus.
Okay, thank you. Kalina?
Yeah, I mean, this was in my operations plan this year, which is to engage the disengaged. So in terms of student experience, I believe, we have engaged the disengaged in terms of events point of view. We've produced, big events that people come to. Before they were struggling to get people coming to these events. In terms of student support, I believe, we can do pop-up stores and all that stuff to get people to know what services we have in terms of student support. And it's also important to not only do this in the city campus, but to also do it on the other campuses as well, for example, Grafton as well. In terms of student voice, it's important, so when you're doing something, it's important to consult with the student body. So for example, we're doing the Students' Manifesto, and it's important, we're going to be consulting with Student Council after this working group, and then we're going to be consulting with the student body, doing it as a mixture as an event, for example, to make it more interesting.
Morteza?
I believe AUSA requires a fresh voice That's what every candidate says every year. I've been around long enough for the past 10 years, involving with the University of Auckland in different roles, to understand that most of these talking points go nowhere or go up in smoke. After a while, people forget what they said, and students have so much in their lives to go through to have the academic success that they aspire for. I believe we need someone who's got determination, motivation, and stamina to do this job. It's not an easy task. I say it one more time. Like my friends, I commend others who take up this role already and did their very best. But sometimes I think the matter of issue with AUSA is a structural point. I believe some roles need to be shifted or changed.
Thank you. We will now be moving to the rapid fire questions. Just to reiterate how this works, we'll be asking everyone the same question. You have 10 seconds to reply with your answer, and it should only be 1 or 2 words. So the first question is, if you had to cut one student service provided by AUSA, what would it be? Nimish? You have 10 seconds. You wouldn't cut any.
Thank you. Moving on. Kalana?
Yeah, I wouldn't cut any. I think every service is important, and in every pillar as well.
Okay. Morteza?
Movie nights.
Movie nights. Okay. Alson?
I would probably cut movie nights as well, but not in the crisis. I would absolutely not cut anything.
Okay. Okay. If you had to cut one position from the AUSA exec and you have to cut one, what would it be?
Have to cut one
You
position.
have to cut one position in the AUSA exec, including the officer roles.
Including the officer roles?
Yes.
Definitely not cutting the officer roles.
Okay.
I think that all of the roles are very
Please tell us what you would cut, which position you would cut. You have 5 seconds.
Engagement.
Okay. Kalana?
I would go PSO because there's a PG EVP, postgrad.
Postgrad student officer?
Yeah.
Okay. Morteza?
President.
Okay. Alson?
I would personally be cutting postgrad education VP because
Thank you.
because
Just
Mick has
wanted
done a
to-
great job.
Okay, thank you. What do you think has been the most influential event in AUSA's history?
We'll start with Morteza.
I can't recall any.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kalana?
Influential event?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
If you could just pick one.
The rise of the themed weeks this year?
Okay.
Thank you.
Nimish?
The government's cut of compulsory student membership.
Alson?
What was the question again?
If you could, what do you think has been the most influential event in AUSA's history?
Most influential event in AUSA's history.
Yeah, pick one.
I would probably say Po Fia Fia Night.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to further quick fire questions. Once again, just 1 to 3 words maximum. If you had to pick one other presidential candidate to vote for, who would it be? Let's start with Kalana.
One other presidential candidate? Like out of
Yeah, the one sitting in this room.
Just
Yeah.
a name.
Just one name.
Nimesh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mortis.
Elson.
Thank you. Alison.
Now I want to say Morteza, but I'm going to have to say Nimish.
Okay. Nimish?
Elson.
Okay.
Thank you. What is your favorite budgie meal on campus? Let's start with Elson.
Although I haven't really had many meals on campus, I am probably going to say my favorite budget meal of all time has probably got to be Nido. Nothing beats a bowl of pasta.
Okay, thank you. Morteza, what is your favorite budgie meal on campus?
Likewise, I never had any meal on campus.
Okay.
Thank you.
The chicken abodo bowl in Nick's Kitchen. Really good and good quantity.
Thank you.
Chicken adobo goes hard from Next Kitchen. Go, visit.
Thank you. And next up is, what do you think is the most impactful thing AUSA has done this year in 1 to 3 words? Let's start with Nimish.
Budget eats.
Kalana?
Yeah, budget eats.
Morteza?
I believe the current president engaged with the student body a bit more effectively via social media.
Okay. Elson?
Open door policy.
Okay, thank you. And our last rapid fire question is, yes or no? Do you think AUSA has done a good job this year? Morteza?
No.
Okay. Elson?
Please restate the question.
Yes or no? Do you think AUSA has done a good job this year?
If compared to last year, hell yeah.
Okay. Kalana?
Definitely a really great job.
Nimish?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's all the questions we have for the presidential candidates for this debate session.
If you guys can please vote when voting opens on the 18th of August. The link will be on AUSA's Linktree on the Instagram at AUSA. So now we will just hear a concluding remark from each of the candidates, around 30 seconds each. Nimish?
I'm driven by community. I'd love to serve you as your Te Raupu Kahakatea AUSA president for next year. I'm very excited for campaigning period at the moment. I'd love if you can join what I call the Nimission so that we can make AUSA even better next year and advocate for student voice.
Thank you. Kalana?
Kia ora, my name is Coliner, and vote for me for president this year. I think, as you can see, everyone said that AUSA has done a great job this year, and that's also because of the engagement we have done this year. And I really think that we can build on what we have done as AUSA for 2025 to 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Morteza?
Hopefully AUSA stand up for student rights and does not just manage decline and struggle all the time financially and learn a way to go through it. I'm ready to do the job. I would be privileged to represent students, but if they choose any other candidate, my friends, that would be a privilege also to be amongst them today and to have a chance to talk to them. Wish you all the best in your studies, whatever you're studying, whichever year you're at.
Thank you. Alson?
Real goals, real change, real progress. That's what I'm advocating for. Realistic, achievable, and easily finishable within 1 year. And that's why all of you should vote Elson Tan for your AUSA president for 2026.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
And that's it for today's debate session
Thank you
for the
very much,
presidential
everyone.
candidates.